What's up, Thinking Big family? Welcome to Season 7 of the podcast that refuses to let you play small. I cannot believe we're in Season 7. I'm Sean Osborne, and if you're new here, buckle up. And if you've been riding with me for a while, well, you thought the last 6 seasons were good? Hold my wine, because we're going to blow the doors off the house this year. We are going to dive deep.
This episode is brought to you by the Selling Online Challenge, and I thought I had this whole selling online thing figured out. It turns out, basically, I was just selling lemonade from the end of my driveway. Then I actually went through Russell Brunson's 3-day Selling Online Challenge, and it completely transformed my approach. I learned in detail his one-to-many framework that lets you attract customers daily like clockwork for just $100, $100. You get 3 full days of training that people say, and I honestly agree, is worth at least 10 times that amount. So check out the show notes for the link, and trust me, your lemonade stand deserves an upgrade.
And look, I've got to start with something that honestly blows my mind every single day. Last year, we hit top 20 entrepreneur podcast in 52 countries on Apple. 52 countries. I'm sitting here in my studio looking at the data and I'm like, seriously? There are entrepreneurs in places that I can't even pronounce correctly who are listening to the show and building their empires. And here's the thing, I would not be here without you. And I'm not talking about just any you, not some faceless audience. I mean you. The person listening right now, probably multitasking because that's what we do as entrepreneurs, right? You made this happen. Every download, every review that says, Sean, you helped change my life, which, by the way, makes me tear up every time I read those. And every time you shared an episode with someone who needed to hear it, that's what built this podcast. So thank you. Now, here's where I'm going to get a little, let's call it passionate about what we're going to do in Season 7. For the past 6 years, we've been diving deep into mindset, into, the psychology of success, rewiring your brains for greatness. We've talked to Russell Brunson, Dean Graziosi, and some of the most successful humans on the planet. We've broken down Napoleon Hill like we were archaeologists discovering ancient treasures, which we were at last year when we went to the hidden treasures from Napoleon Hill with Russell. And you know what? The foundation matters. All of that matters. The mindset works. It is everything, because without it, what I'm about to teach you in Season 7 would be like giving a Ferrari to someone who's never learned to drive. Technically impressive, but probably going to end badly. But here's the thing, and I'm going to be brutally honest with you because that's what I do here. But I've been holding back on you. I've been holding back. See, for the last 3 years, I've been teaching something to my high-ticket coaching clients and to my high-ticket mastermind members that I've never shared publicly. I've never put on the podcast. Something so powerful that one of my clients actually went from $400K to $2.8 million in 18 months using this framework. Another one of my members broke 7 figures for the first time in her business. Over $100,000 the first time in her business, in her life. Using these exact frameworks and these exact systems that we are going to go through this entire year. And every time I thought about bringing this to the podcast, I think, maybe they're not ready for it, or maybe I should just keep this for the people paying $25,000K to be in my mastermind group. Why give everything away for free when I can, charge $25,000 in my mastermind for this same information? But you know what? That's not who I am. And frankly, that's not who you deserve me to be. So welcome to Season 7, the season where I hold absolutely nothing back. So this season, we're going to be talking about something that I call the Self-Liquidating Growth Model, or SLG if you want to sound fancy at some dinner parties. And no, before you ask, this isn't some get-rich-quick nonsense that requires you to sell your soul or your spouse's or your grandmother's jewelry. This is about building a business where your 30-day gross profit equals or exceeds your customer acquisition cost, what it costs to do things. So in plain English in this model, your customers finance the acquisition of your next customers. You never spend your own money to grow again or borrow money. But Sean, you might be thinking that sounds too good to be true. And oh, sweet summer child, this is exactly what one of my clients said before she scaled from 5 to 6 figures using these things that I'm going to teach in this podcast this year. But I get it. We've been conditioned to think that growth requires outside capital. You got to have money to make money, right? Or selling our souls to, investors who think they know our business better than we do. And I know some of you might be saying, Sean, I am not there yet. I'm not ready to go get venture capital. I'm not ready to do this. And I want you to know you are closer than you think. So keep listening, do the work, and you are there. You will actually be there. Here's the thing. This model can work starting from zero or starting from 200,000 a year. It's the same model. So don't worry if you don't think you're not there yet. You are, you're closer, and you can actually put this model to work for you as well. So here's what we're going to be covering this season. We're going to be covering other stuff. We're going to be covering, mindset stuff. We're going to be doing interviews with other successful entrepreneurs as well. So here's what we're going to be covering this season. And I want you to buckle up because this is going to be quite a ride this year. So we're going to have a whole series on the lead system. We're starting with hooks that actually get clicks and customers, not just vanity metrics that make you feel good at 2 a.m. Hey, I got a like. Who cares? It doesn't pay a bill while you're scrolling through your analytics. I'm talking about the hook framework that took one of my clients from 10,000 views and 2 sales to 50,000 views and over 47 sales. Same audience, same offers, different hook, different way to get them in. And I'm even going to give away on that one. I'm going to give away my AI prompt that will give you like 75 high converting prompts or hooks for any idea that you give to it. It's gold. Again, this is how you get people in. That's the first thing. Then we're going to dive into what Alex Hormozi calls goated ads. And that's where I learned how to do these ads was from Alex Hormozi. And yes, that goated as in greatest of all time. We're going to build you an ad assembly line that produces 150 plus variations per week. But it's trust me, it's not overwhelming because here's the secret that most people who are successful don't want you to know. You don't need better ads. You need more variety ads. Volume beats perfection every single time, and we'll show you how to easily do that to produce ads if you want to use ads. Then we're going to go into an entire series of the sales system. We're talking about lead nurture that actually works, closing techniques that feel natural instead of sleazy, and proof that makes your prospects feel stupid if they do not buy from you. And before you roll your eyes and think, I already know how to sell, like I did. And here's what Alex said. If you are so good at selling, why isn't your bank account matching your competence? Period. And then comes the delivery system series. This is where most people completely fumble the bag. They get the customer, they make the sale, and then crickets. Have you ever experienced this? I'm sure you have. We're going to talk about lifetime value optimization because really you don't make your money off the first sale. It's the lifetime value where you really make your money. And that doesn't require you to become a sleazy, upsales machine. And we're also going to go over retention strategies that turn one-time buyers into raving fans that recruit other friends and other buyers. And then finally, we're going to tap into the profit system series. Oh, this is going to get good, people. This is where it really gets good. We're going to talk about extracting the maximum profit from your business every single 90 days. I call these lightning launches. Every quarter, you're going to be able to do one of these. Then pricing strategies that actually work in 2025. And they should work in 2026 as well. And how you can raise your prices without your customers staging a revolt against you. Kind of like Kajabi's people are doing right now. And I want you to understand this. This isn't just theory. Every single episode in this season is going to end with what I call a 1-page action list. Not some vague, go implement this crap. None of that nonsense. Specific, actionable steps that you can take every week to start building these blueprints, to start building this self-liquidating growth plan in your business. Because here's what I've learned after building 8-figure company and coaching hundreds of entrepreneurs. Information without implementation is just expensive entertainment. And we don't want entertainment. We want results. Now, I know some of you are thinking, Sean, that sounds incredible, but what's the catch? You're doing all this, stuff that you charge $25,000 for. What's the catch? What are you selling? And here's the beautiful thing of where I am now. I'm not selling you anything except the idea that you are capable of much more than you currently believe. This is me giving away the farm because I believe in you more than you believe in yourself right now. But There's always a but. But I do have one ask. Well, actually two asks. First, if this season changes your business, and I mean when this season changes your business, I want to hear about it. Send me a voice note. Shoot me an email. Slide into my DMs. Collect success stories like some people collect vintage wines, and your wins are going to be the fuel for someone else's breakthrough moving forward. And second, and this is the important one, I need you to actually do the work. Not just consume it, not just listen to the podcast, but do it. Not just take notes in some fancy journal that you're never going to look at again. Do the work that we talk about in the podcast, because the distance between where you are now and where you want to be isn't measured in episodes consumed. It's measured in actions taken. All right, so let's talk about homework. So yes, this is a podcast this year. We're doing some homework because this isn't Netflix. This is your business education. And before the next episode, before we officially launch the stuff going into season 7, I need you to calculate 3 numbers. Number 1, your customer acquisition cost, or your CAC, how much it costs you to acquire each customer in ads and whatever it is. How much does it actually cost you every time? Not a lead, but a customer. So how much does it cost you to acquire an actual customer? Number 2, your 30-day gross profit per customer. How much money do you make from the average customer in their first 30 days? And then number 3, your payback period. How long does it take for that customer to pay you back what it cost you to acquire them? And if you don't know these numbers, you're basically driving blindfolded on a highway, hoping you don't crash. And it might work for a little while, but eventually, physics win. You're going to crash. And here is a pro tip that's worth the price of admission to this entire season. If your 30-day gross profit is less than your cost to acquire the customer, you're in what I call venture capital prison. You need either other people's money or your own self-funded money to grow. I know, I've been there, I've done that. I funded thinking big for several years before I learned this. But if your 30 days gross profit exceeds your customer acquisition cost, welcome to Freedom Club, my friends. Population, very few, but also very successful. So in the next episode, we're going to dive deep into these issues, what they mean, how to calculate them, and how to change them if you don't know what they are right now. Make sure you tune into the next episode. Again, the first episode will frame everything, because here's something most people don't realize. A tiny change in your first 30 days can 10x your performance of your company. So again, this is season 7 of the Thinking Big podcast, strategy that scale and mindset that multiplies. I'm Sean Osborne, and I'm here to remind you that your current situation is not your final destination. Think bigger, build smarter, execute faster, and remember, sometimes what feels like your breaking point might just be your breakthrough point. And I'll see you in the next episode, and until then, keep thinking big.